another video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up and notification bell. Does not cost you a thing. Comment down below. Interact with me. I interact back. If you don't like my video, hit the dislike. YouTube analytics, right? So, I was watching an Asian My show not long ago. It's taking a little 30-minute break to get my time back to get on down the road. And Asian Mind said the FMCSA is going to be a little bit more lenient on drug testing for truckers. What do you mean by that, Ron? This is what I mean. We're going to water them down. They're going to go from UAs and hair follicles to mouth swabs. And according to Asian Mind, a source of his told him that it's more accurate and you can't cheat it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can cheat it and it's not accurate. From personal experience, I don't think they should do it, because then you're going to have a lot of drug users out here on the road. As long as you brush your teeth real good and rinse out really good with water, you can pass that test. Easy. I know from personal experience. I've done it to get jobs in the past. Not the way to go. I don't think it's safe. And to keep it real with you, I once smoked weed, and I still say it ain't safe. Maybe in your personal vehicle, but not no 80,000-pound 18-wheeler going down the highway at a high rate of speed with other cars and trucks around it. I don't think you should be doing any kind of drug. I don't care if you think it's natural or you think it ain't harmful to nobody. You shouldn't do no kind of drug. And to go even deeper for you, I'm gonna give you a little story time real quick. So, told you I've done it before, right? I worked for a landscape company. Landscape company's name was Site One Landscape Supply. Location was out of Olathe, Kansas. 143rd and Lackman. Or Flum, I'm sorry, Flum. And when I first was hired, I did a drug test similar to that and passed it by just simply brushing my teeth. And then from there, I went from just a regular yard guy moving around plants and being a grunt worker moving around trees and stuff while operators lined them up to be putting holes for a second, so until they're bought by a customer, and other stuff, other materials we had there, mulch and everything else. I went from that to being a heavy machine operator. You know, bobcats and tractors, not like the one I'm driving now, but more like a farm tractor. And a pickup truck that operated a water tank, and then an actual 10-speed water truck with a tank attached to the back. Now, I did that for almost 2 years, and that was after doing a mouth swab test. And I know you like, oh, I don't want to quit smoking. You know, I'm gonna do it to the day I go, and so on and so forth. I had the same attitude. For the longest time, I would tell my parents they tripping. You know, they would tell me to quit all the time. And I'm like, y'all tripping. Until one day, my pops and his friend showed me a check stub. They both showed me their check stub. Private information. I think this was like a last ditch attempt for my pops to be like, hey man, I'm trying to get this dude to change it up. I saw those check stubs and was like, maybe smoking ain't all that. At the time, I had a fresh 8 allowed in my pocket.
2 miles, keep left onto I-64.
And a fresh pack of cigarillos to roll them up with. To roll it up with. I left my parents' house, went straight home to my girlfriend, said I quit, handed her that 8, and said, you can finish it. She was like, you serious? I said, I'm dead serious. Then I told her what I saw. She was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So, first week of January 2018, I quit cold turkey. So if I can do it, you can do it. And from there, I went through a 2-month-long process of being hired on with the railroad. You might as well say 3 months, because first 2 months was me applying for the job, getting a call back, going to an interview, then getting a call back a couple days later from that. Then I had a false start date, because they give you a start date. And then 2 weeks from that, and what I mean by false start date, I guess the email system that they use inaccurately sent out invites to orientation. Well, I ain't gonna say inaccurately, because it was accurate, but it wasn't at the right time. I guess they accidentally sent it to the guys that they were looking at on hiring, which they told me they were gonna hire me before I even left the interview, but and a few other guys the same way. If you interviewed the right way with them, they'll tell you straight up right then and there, like that, more than likely, you're gonna call you back, so look for a call. Which they did, but I got a false start, and then 2 weeks from that, I got an actual start, CO letter and all that stuff. It's an automated message they send you. It's a letter from the CEO inviting you to orientation, congratulating you on becoming a member of the railroad, and so on and so forth. Then after that, you got the waiting period to start, and from there, you got to stay clean anyway. I was already clean, because my pops put me up on game that you can't go back to start to smoking weed again. You mess around, get the orientation, they do randoms at orientation. So finally got to orientation and found out from there. That's why I said 3 months. Found out from there I got to take a series of tests, just like I did when I did the application, to even start learning the job itself. And the tests you take are mostly rules that you need to know doing the job. And then they do little field trips. They take you out to the yard. They show you the basics on how to use a remote control for the locomotives in the yard, the RCLs in the yard, stuff like that. And you got to pass that test too. You got to pass a riding test, like you hang on the back of a rail car, and you got to tie brakes, and there's certain sequences you got to go through to connect to the locomotive and disconnect, and certain things you have to call out on the radio and crossing the tracks, and there's certain tests they put you through to see if they really want you to work for them. And I went through all of them, passed them all with flying colors, except for one. It's a signal test. Put me on the edge. I got cocky and I didn't study for it. So I was like, it's just signals, it's just colors, what I mean, and signs and stuff. I mean, it's pretty much common sense. But I found out real quick that railroad signals and signs are nothing like the road. So anyway, I got to the yard part, and you gotta go through that, and then oh no, my bad, take it back. You go to the road first. You take trips on the road, and they have a manager ride with you. They call it a check ride or a ride. And I passed that with the manager on board with me from started in Marysville and went to Topeka. And he hopped off at Topeka and said I passed. And then I took a ride by myself back with the conductor and the engineer as a student back to Kansas City. And then I started my yard, OJT, on the job training. And then from there, they do the same thing. They do a ride with you, a check ride with you. After so long of being out there for a month or so, depending on how long it ever takes you to get through it. For me, it was a month and a week, because my ride got pushed back due to the amount of guys they'd hired this particular year. So, passed all that and upgraded, and I call it upgraded. You get your license in the end. You get your RCL license in the end from the FRA to operate a remote locomotive and be a conductor. So I got that. And from there, man, I was making good money, and I ain't looked back since. You know what I'm saying? I ain't looked at a bag of weed, nothing like that. Do I think about doing it? Yeah, one day when I'm set up financially to be in that position to do so, I might do it. But right now, while I'm on this road operating this heavy machine, You'll never catch me in the vicinity of a blunt. If somebody's smoking, I ain't near it. I don't want to be near it. You know what I'm saying? I got to be compliant out here. And when you think you made it, don't get too comfortable. Even if you get your CDL, you get out here, don't get comfortable talking about you gonna smoke. Because a drug test can come up anytime. The company you work for might do a random. Like I told you, the railroad, like my pops told me, be careful. They did randoms to a couple guys in my class, and it was kind of funny to me that it was the two guys talking about it. It makes me think that the laptops that we were using in class to do our testing with were bugged. Because them guys were sitting right in front of their laptops with them open, talking about it, and then next week they were randomly tested. Everybody that was quiet about it, not engaging in the conversation, or saying they silly about it, I was one of the ones like, man, y'all silly. I wouldn't talk about that over here. We didn't get tested. It was just them two guys. One of them passed, and which surprised me because the guy that passed, he was talking about how he used to sell it. You know, he was like, oh, yeah, I used to sell it. And he passed. And then the other guy, he failed. And when we were able to talk to him during break, because he was being escorted out of the building on a break, it just so happened the railroad police escorted him out at the same time he was taking a break. And when he was going to his car, he told us. He lit his cigarette and told us, you know, I messed up and went out to celebrate my friends that I had passed a couple of tests. And, you know, I was bragging about being hired on the railroad, and I thought I made it. And at this time, mind you, you gotta imagine too, we had got our first checks, so he went out kicking it with his friends, bragging about his first check and all that. And the first check was fat, I ain't gonna lie. Just for being a student. I mean, the biggest check I had seen, you know, coming from doing landscape and making $14.50 an hour to that, it was one of the biggest checks I ever seen. Plus, it had our bonus on it. So imagine this check was almost $3,000, almost a $3,000 check I got in my pocket. And he got the same check, went out bragging with his friends, smoking weed and everything, not knowing that they could random him. And they did. They got booted out the door. So you got to be careful. Don't get comfortable even after you get your CDL, thinking that you're going, you know, in this transportation industry. And I parallel with the railroad because it's transportation still. Still got ties to the government when it comes to operating this heavy machinery. And there's been guys that I know out here on the road that's got popped for having weed on them. They had to go through a long laundry list of things to become compliant again just to drive. Once you start making this money, man, it becomes like that drug. You get addicted to it. And it's so bad that places like the railroad and certain trucking companies have a suicide prevention line. Because when you get caught up, some of these guys can't take it because that money's ripped from them. You gotta imagine, when you're making good money, you buying big boy things. Okay? Making big boy money, you buying big boy things. You know, houses and cars, motorcycles, four-wheelers, boats, and what have you. And if that's stripped from you, and that's a pain I can't describe. So I wouldn't even advise trying to sneak to do it after you get your CDL. Man, just do right, man. Get this money. You gotta weigh it out. For me, it was creating a legacy or staying, you know, in the mind state I was in smoking weed. I wanted to create a legacy, which I'm doing right now. I aspire to have my own trucking company. And I can't do so smoking weed. Now, do I look down on you for smoking weed? No. That's your prerogative. If that's what you want to do, that makes you feel good in life, you want to do that, and you're comfortable with the money you make and the career you in or job you work with, by all means, do you. But when it comes to this, don't do it. Not the way to go. Now, if they pass that law, I imagine that the rules don't change. You know what I'm saying? You still can get popped for it. a lot of companies drug test you immediately after an accident, even if it's minor. Let's say you run over some cones and you rip the bumper off and the camera catches it as a collision alert to the safety department. They bring you in and drug test you for that. Hey, gotta be careful, man. I'll tell you another funny snippet. When my first year, right after I got my FRA license, a couple months later, it started snowing really bad, right? I got called into work. This happened a couple times to me. I got called into work, and they scheduled my crew to be drug tested. I didn't care because I was sober. But one of the guys, I ain't gonna lie, he was kind of nervous, but he ended up passing. And I know he passed because they don't tell you, they don't send you a formal letter saying, hey, you passed. They just let you keep working. And that happened that time, and it happened on New Year's Eve. I got called into work to work the ramp, as they call it out there in the Neff Yard, East Bowl in Kansas City. And they drug tested us all before we touched that engine. Old man came in with a big old briefcase, metal briefcase with his tools in it that he needed to test us. He UA'd us. We did a breathalyzer. We signed for it. He walked away. And I didn't hear nothing else about it. Again, because they don't tell you if you pass now, they just let you keep working. So, you gotta be diligent out here, man. You gotta be diligent. Heck, I just did a drug test for the guy I drive for now, which, you know, I didn't care. Sober as ever. You know, I ain't got nothing in my system. I hardly drink anymore. When I do drink, I'm completely off from work on a 34-hour reset or something. I do not drink on no 10-hour break or nothing like that because it's too close. There's not enough time, in my opinion, for your body to readjust. Plus, I want to drink. When I drink, I drink. I'm not going to have a couple beers and say I'm good. You know, when I drink, I drink. So I do it on a 34-hour reset, and I do it responsibly. I don't do it and then go operate my personal vehicle or anything like that because I take it seriously. That's why I have no remorse for anybody that's caught DUI. You know, I figure you the idiot for doing it. You put yourself at risk and anybody else that was around you on that road at risk, or anybody walking next to the road, or anybody in their house at risk that you passing by that car that you driving drunk in. People have lost control and hit houses and hurt people like that. Man, just don't do no kind of drugs out here, man. We operate any heavy machinery. And that's how I feel about it. That's my take on it. You can like it, you can hate it. I don't care. I stand on it. I don't think you should do any kind of drugs operating heavy machinery. And if you get caught, that's on your silly tail. So, let my cigar go out, running my mouth to y'all. It's the Trucking Block, aka Block Life Vlogs. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the thumbs up notification bell. Does not cost you a thing. Comment down below. Interact with me. I interact back. If you don't like my video, hit the dislike. YouTube analytics, right? P.S. Public service announcement. PSA, public service announcement. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs by my birthday. I know it's coming up quick, and I said in a couple other videos, 4/18, it's coming up quick. But hey, I'm gonna try to get as close as I can. Even though I only got 102 subscribers, you gotta keep pushing no matter what, right? So I don't care if I only get up to a couple hundred subscribers. Just run them numbers up. It does not cost you nothing. If you watching my video, and I know y'all do, there's 98% of my viewers are not subscribed. Okay, I'm looking at my analytics. If you watching me, man, go ahead and subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. You know, like all these other YouTubers say, man. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, man. Mess with your boy. There's a lot of guys you watch out here that you subscribe to that talk about a bunch of nonsense. A bunch of nonsense. And y'all subscribe to them, I'm kicking some knowledge. Mess with me. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.